quick 15-second definition, demographer. What is a demographer?
Demographers look at populations. They look at birth, migration, death, and how it influences world policy.
Both short and long range.
Absolutely.
Both short and long range.
There's 7 billion people in the world. And so what we do is we study those 7 billion people very carefully.
Listen, Ken, after your last appearance, I got a lot of feedback from viewers on 2 subjects that they were very interested in. Wanted you to talk a little bit about again. We got about 17 minutes. And the 2 subjects are millennials and immigration. So why don't you give us a definition of millennials, and then I'll start asking you some questions.
Millennials in the United States are born 1985 to 2004. They're currently 10 years old to 29 years old. Their total is bigger than the boomers, about 83 million of them.
83 million.
83 million. Yeah, the boomers were bumping up against 80 million with immigration. So it's actually a larger generation than the boomers. We haven't felt them yet as part of our culture because they're not working. And they're facing very, very high unemployment. And that's as a result of the economic crisis that took place in 2008, primarily housing.
Okay, so we got a big wave coming at us then, Ken.
Yeah.
Our staff.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Our staff are all millennials here, so they're listening with interest. So my first question is, I'm going to ask you 5 different questions in terms of their impact on society.
Sure.
First one is economic. How are the millennials going to behave as consumers?
Well, we're finding out already as we're watching conventional stores close.
You mean brick and mortar stores?
Yeah, brick and mortar stores. Yeah, but they're. I can't tell you. I have 2 Gen Y or millennial daughters. I have one 22 and one 19. And the way they shop is through the mailbox. I go to the mailbox, I get a box, I take it down to the house, and one of the 2 of them are going to open it because that's what they ordered online.
Online.
Yeah.
Right.
Shopping, they still like the idea of shopping, but that as a pastime has kind of gone by the way. So yeah, there's going to be a big change. The big thing though, Jim, is the fact that they don't have money yet. They don't have their own money yet, and very soon, as they age, the parental financial umbilical is going to be cut. The reason they don't have money is because they're not a part of the workforce. And not a part of the workforce is because the boomers haven't left at the other end, especially in Connecticut, because we still are we're one of the last states to deal with our foreclosures, our housing foreclosures. And once the foreclosures are dealt with in a particular state, a lot of the boomers move out, housing values go through the roof, and
jobs open up.
Jobs open up. I almost don't think we have enough people for the jobs that are going to be necessary. And that is especially true in Connecticut. We're going to have to recruit people from outside of the state and outside of the country.
Next category. So as consumers, we're looking at online people, what we're looking at. All right, so politically, how are they going to vote? How are these young ladies going to vote? Well, or will they vote?
Yes, they will.
They will vote.
Oh, they very definitely will vote, and they demand transparency. There's no if a political candidate has something to hide, he's cooked, because they'll know it already. There's no more secrets with these young people.
Because they have access to so much information.
Yeah, and they're brilliant.
Okay.
I'm
millennials
sorry.
are brilliant.
they're just
they're all shaking their heads yes out here, Ken, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and 2, they're as soon as they amass some stuff, they will vote conservatively.
Okay.
But they don't have any stuff yet. In 2008, I forecast 4 election cycles for the Democrats because of the way the population was set up, and it's 2 down, 2 to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they will vote.
They absolutely will vote. They're very conscious of what's happening.
Okay. Well, the access to information I think is important. How about culture? How's the millennial generation going to impact our culture?
Well, I'll tell you this: they won't work for mean people.
They will not work for mean people.
No, I speak to huge audiences, and a lot of times they'll have millennials in the audience, and I'll say, "How many people here work for a mean person?" And of course, you get a couple timid hands, and they said, "Well, okay, how many people here are sitting next to that mean person?" And a lot of hands go up. No, they've been taught to be like George Bush Sr., kinder, gentler. Yeah, they just are. I think they're going to be, and I'm not just sucking up to these folks in the room. I think they're going to be the best generation we've ever had.
Well, that's good to hear. how are they going to view our institutional authority figures? Government, education, how?
Well, as long as the authority figures and the government institutions represent a bona fide, positive, warm-hearted culture, they'll embrace it. But I'm telling you, if there's any, which is, I tell folks all the time, and I hope I can say this, I said, these kids hate Walmart. And Walmart is the biggest retailer in the world, and certainly the biggest retailer in the United States. But if they don't change their policies, they're going to lose the millennials. Lose them.
Okay. How about the job seekers? You were indicating there are going to be jobs for these kids?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right now they're facing very, very high unemployment. They could be as much as 25, 30% unemployment. It might even be higher than that in certain categories. But what's going to happen is you're going to have a mass exodus at the other end of the workforce. And we have roughly 140 million people at work in the United States, say from 20 to 65. Once the boomers are able to access the equity in their homes, or even be able to sell their homes and move, the insurance companies in Connecticut are going to go begging. There aren't enough people, because the generation in between Generation Y and us, the boomers, the people that are currently
That was a small.
Oh, it's tiny. It's especially, I've got a team of people working on the demographics, exhaustive study on the demographics of Connecticut right now. And some of the early results coming back is showing that between 30 and 49, we have zip.
Yeah.
And what is that? That would naturally be the people who would be sucked into the executive positions, the leadership positions as the boomers leave. So what's going to happen is these kids, there's not enough of the people in that category, so companies are going to have to go much younger for their leaders, and I think these kids are up for it.
How about housing? Where are they going to want to live? They're going to want to live in the city, they want to live in the suburbs, they want to go rural, they want to own their own home, they want to rent. What do they want to do, Kim?
They want to live in a city, they don't want cars.
They do not want cars.
Not want cars. It scares me to death. I mean, I talk to young people and I say, hey, you're 18 years old, you don't have a driver's license? He said, no, I don't need one. That's what, you don't want a car?
Yeah.
No, but
because they feel like they're linked to their friends electronically.
Listen, if you give a Gen Y an option, give up your phone or give up your automobile, what's he going to give up first?
They're going to give up the car.
Give up the car. And I'm thinking,
is that right, ladies? You give up the car before
that is the freakiest thing that I've ever heard. No, what's going to happen is once they move into the cities and they find a mate, it's just the way humans are. They find a mate, they don't want to live in the cities, and they move back out to the suburbs. So they will marry, they will have children. I'm hoping they're going to have more than 2 kids. It looks like there's a chance that they would favor 3 kids.
Because we need them.
We absolutely. You don't have kids.
Yeah.
You don't have kids, you don't have anything.
Yeah, right. Okay. Next subject. So the millennials, by and large, they're a special generation. You're saying they're among the best and the brightest, if not the.
Best and the brightest we've ever
I
had.
think their electronic persuasion is going to change the whole world. I mean, they're just.
It's changing media.
Oh yeah, it's going to change the whole world. So, all right. The next area, Ken, is immigration.
Yeah.
Immigration. This is an understatement. I would say is a very, very emotional subject in this country. I mean,
especially among the old hardliners in the GOP.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. We're a nation of immigrants. I'm German. You're Italian. I mean, how far back do you go before somebody lived in Italy? Your parents? Your parents' parents?
Parents.
Yeah. Well, come on. We're a nation of immigrants. We pick on the last people in. But the irony here is we seem to be focused on the Latinos. The Latinos have ceased being the biggest group of immigrants 5 years ago. It's Asians now. Asians are pouring into this country.
Well, why don't we hear about that?
I don't know.
We hear
I don't
about
know.
the Latinos coming in. We do not hear about the Asians coming in. Why is that?
I think it's just maybe it's a border thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a Joe Arpaia thing. You know, Joe Arpaia.
I'm the sheriff in Arizona.
Yeah, you know, he's Italian. You know where he's from? Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Italian.
Yeah.
He's a kid of immigrants from Springfield, Massachusetts.